Good morning, everyone. Okay. Does everyone know where we are today? Where are we? Yes. At the mosque. Who can tell me what is a mosque? Has anybody heard the word mosque before? Yes. Huh. So, which type of people go and worship there? Muslims. Very good. So the mosque is a place of worship. Generally, you'll find Muslims that will come here to perform their prayers. Are we okay? Are we together? Just like how in Christianity you have the church, isn't it? And in Judaism you have what? The synagogue. Are we together? So the place of worship in Judaism is known as the synagogue. The place of worship in Christianity is known as the church, and the place of worship in Islam is known as the what? The mosque. Now, mosque is in English. The Arabic word for the word mosque, repeat after me everyone, is masjid. Masjid. So, when you came in, you might have observed on the signboard written masjid, isn't it? Right, masjid means mosque. Masjid is Arabic, mosque is what? English. Are we okay? Okay. So today we'll be having a session where we'll give you a brief understanding or history of Islam, where it started, how it was founded. We'll explain the 5 pillars of Islam, and then we'll also go through the passages of life, right? After we're done here, you'll be given a Q&A session. Whatever questions you want to ask, you can ask. And then we'll go for a tour around the mosque and see the different things that we can see and identify. Are we okay? Yes. Okay. Now, there's something that we need to start off with, right? Something that we regard as culture. When you go back home, the moment you enter your home, what do? The moment you enter, you come back from school, you open the door, there are people inside the house. What do? Yes, you greet. You understand? When you come to school, you enter your classroom and your teachers are inside. What do you do to your teachers? You greet. You understand? What happens when you don't greet? What happens when you don't greet? Huh? Who can tell me? What happens when you enter the classroom? Your teacher is there, but you don't greet your teacher. You go home, your parents are there at home, but you don't greet them. What happens? You get in trouble, isn't it? Why? Because these are things that we regard as culture. You understand? We have to do it. It shows how well mannered a person is. When you meet somebody, you don't just pass them. We make sure we greet, isn't it? Now, when it comes to Islam, there is a specific way of greeting. Are we together? There's a specific way that Muslims greet. This greeting primarily is done in Arabic. What language? Arabic. But before we get to the Arabic, let's try and understand the greeting. Right? In Islam, we are taught that we should pray for one another. When we meet each other, what do? We pray for one another. You understand? What do? Praying for one another, what does this show? This shows that when I pray for you, it shows you that I have nothing bad in my heart for you. Right? And when you pray for me, it shows me that you have nothing bad in your heart for me. Are we together? Aha. Now, what does the greeting mean before we actually get to the actual greeting? The actual greeting or the actual prayer is, may God's peace, may God's peace be on you. Are we together? May God's peace be on you. May God's peace be on you. Right? When you respond, what do you say? You say, may God's peace be on you too. Are we together? Together now. May God's peace be on you. Say it. And to respond, we say, may God's peace be on you too. Aha, very good. Okay. Now, what is the actual greeting? Who can tell me? Yes. Aha. How do you respond to that? Aha. So everybody repeat after me. Assalamu. Assalamu. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Say it. Assalamu alaikum. How do you respond? You say wa alaikum salam. Aha. Now we understand what it means. You understand? When you hear somebody saying that, what are they doing for you? They are greeting, but they are also doing what for you? They are also praying for you. You understand? And when you respond, what are you doing? What are you doing when you respond? When you reply, somebody says assalamu alaikum, you say wa alaikum salam. What are you doing? You are also greeting, and you are also praying for each other. Okay? Now, we spoke about Arabic, isn't it? What language is the greeting in? Assalamu alaikum is what language? What language is it? Huh? What language is assalamu alaikum? Huh? It's English. It's Setswana. What language? Louder, louder, louder. Why is it? It's like people didn't sleep properly last night and they came here and then now the eyes are open sometimes, their eyes are closed sometimes. What happened? Are we all awake? Are we all awake? You sure? Come, stand up, stand up. Let's stand up. Stand up, everyone. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Turn to the right. Everyone, turn to the right. Turn to your right. Turn to your right. Everybody turn to the right. Now I want everybody to give the person in front of them a massage on the shoulders. Massage the person in front of you on the shoulders. Aha. Okay, turn to the left. Turn to the left. Return the favor now. Okay, come, let's sit down. We are awake now. Aha. Okay, so let's continue from where we left off. What language were we speaking? Assalamu alaikum. We were saying was what language? Arabic, isn't it? Now, who can tell me where is Arabic spoken? Where is Arabic spoken? Which country? Yes? No. Saudi Arabia. You understand? Arabic is a language that is spoken in Saudi Arabia. Are we together? Yes. Saudi Arabia is in Asia, the continent known as Asia. Which part of the continent? The part of the continent known as the Middle East. Are we together? Yes. Now, Saudi Arabia is not the only country that speaks Arabic. Arabic is spoken across a region that crosses two continents, from the Middle East in Asia right until West Africa in, where is West Africa? Which continent? West Africa is where?
Countries found in the West Africa.
Where is West Africa?
The continent again. Hey, you know West. Countries found in the Western Africa.
Huh.
West.
So, when we speak about the Middle East, we're speaking about countries such as Kuwait, right? UAE, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Oman, Yemen, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine. You understand? All of these countries speak what language? What language do they speak? They speak Arabic. Very good. When you go across the sea into Africa, countries such as Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Mali, Chad, Sudan, Algeria, you understand? All of these countries, what language do they speak? What language do they speak? They speak Arabic, you understand? So Arabic is a language that is spoken across a region from Asia until Africa. You understand? Now, going back to the Middle East in Saudi Arabia, there is a famous town known as Makkah. What's the name? In this town, over 1,400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad was born. Who was born? Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He lived in this town. He grew up in this town. He interacted with the people. He knew the people and people knew him. You understand? Yes. He was a resident of this town called Makkah. At the age of 40, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, received his mission and received his prophethood. That he was appointed to be the final prophet to mankind. And after the age of 40, he began his mission preaching to people, calling them to what we know as monotheism, the worship of one God. Are we together? Prophet Muhammad was teaching people to worship what? One God, right? Why? Because in his town at that time, many of the people would worship idols. Are we together? They would take a stone, they would carve the stone into a shape, and they would say, this is my God. Then they carve another stone, and they put it next to the stone, and they say, this is the God's wife. And then they'll make miniature small sculptures also. And what will they do? They will say, this is the God's children. And Prophet Muhammad came, and what he was saying was, do not worship something that you have created with your own hands. Worship the one who created everything. And that is who? Who created everything? Who created the whole world? Who? It was God, isn't it? Now, what is the Arabic word for God? What is the Arabic word for God? In Arabic, God, or in Islam, God is referred to as Allah. Everybody repeat after me, Allah. Aha. When we say God, what do we mean, God? We mean a supreme being that exists on its own. There is nothing like it. It was not created. It will never die. It has no partner. It has no children. This entity is just alone. And it controls everything that exists. Are we together? This entity we refer to as who? Allah. So Prophet Muhammad was teaching people to worship Allah. And he carried on preaching and preaching and preaching and preaching. Eventually, some people listened to him. And some people did not listen to him. And some people got angry. And they tried to do what to him? They tried to kill him. You understand? But prior to this plot, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, received the news that so and so are trying to assassinate you. They want to kill you. So what he did before they came, or while they were there, you understand? God protected him in such a way that they could not see him, and he managed to escape. And he escaped and he left Makkah and he went to another town. What's the name of this town? Everyone repeat after me. Medina. 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 Aha. When he reached this town, he managed to settle there and he continued preaching again for an additional 10 years. And after 10 years, he passed away. When he passed away, he was buried there. What happened when he passed away? He was buried. You understand? Why are we saying that Prophet Muhammad was buried? Who can tell me when Muslims pass away, what happens to them? Yes? They are? When you die, what happens to your body? Is? So there is a misconception. Anybody knows what misconception means? Misconception means there's a wrong information or wrong understanding. You understand? People think when Muslims die, what happens to the body? The body is then burnt. Is this correct? You understand? It's not correct. Why? Because when Muslims die, their body is buried. It's put into the ground. You understand? At a graveyard. Just like how Prophet Muhammad, when he passed away, what did they do to him? They buried him, isn't it? So, similarly, Muslims, when they bury, when they die, they also get buried in the ground. They don't get burnt. Okay? Now, from there on, more and more people began accepting Islam. They began coming into the fold of Islam. Country after country, region after region. And as we speak today, in 2025, right? Each region in the world would have a population of Muslims that live there. You understand? As far as China, when you go to China, you will find some of the Chinese people are what? Muslims. When you go to America, North America, South America, you'll find some of the people there are what? When you go to Europe, you'll find some of the people there are what? When you come to Africa, you understand? A large population of Africa is what? Aha, you understand? So, who can tell me how many human beings are we today in the world? How many human beings are we today? Hmm? We are approximately 8 billion human beings today in the world. How many? Not 8 million, 8 billion. 8 billion human beings alive today in the world. You understand? The whole world has how many? 8 billion. Out of those 8 billion, right? 2 billion of them are Muslims. You understand? Out of 8 billion, how many are they Muslims? 2 billion of them. You understand? So Muslims make up a quarter, 1/4 of the world's population. Okay? Now, depending on where you are, some places will have more Muslims, some places will have less. For example, if a person was in North Africa or East Africa, right, or West Africa, majority of the people there will be what? Will be what? Will be Muslims. You understand? But when you come down south, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, majority of the people are what? Huh? Nuh-uh. Are there more Muslims in Botswana or less? There are less. You understand? So just depending on where you are, you'll either find a large population or a smaller population. Are we together? Aha, very good. Now, we move on to the next stage. And this is the 5 pillars of Islam.
So who succeeded Prophet Muhammad after this?
So after Prophet Muhammad passed on, there were always leaders that were elected to take care of the Muslim population. Are we together? Yes. So after Prophet Muhammad passed on, the next leader that came in number one as a leader, not as a prophet. You understand? The next leader was known by the name of Abu Bakr. Abu? Aha. He's known as the first caliph of Islam, the one that succeeded and took over affairs of the Muslims after the Prophet Muhammad passed on. Okay? The next leader that came after him, who succeeded Abu Bakr again, was known as Umar. What was his name? Aha. Who succeeded him was a leader by the name of Uthman. What was his name? Uthman. And then who succeeded him was a leader by the name of Ali. Aha. You understand? So these are known as the 4 rightly guided caliphs. You understand? So each time would have a different leader. Somebody that people would look to, Muslims will look to, and somebody that is responsible of the affairs of the Muslims. Are we together? Okay. So, who knows the 5 pillars of Islam?
5 pillars of Islam.
Who knows them? Who can mention them? What are the 5 pillars of Islam? Islam is based on 5 pillars, isn't it? Now, before we go on to the 5 pillars of Islam, who can tell me what is the purpose of a pillar? Can anybody here point towards a pillar? Show me a pillar here. What is a pillar?
There is a pillar.
Show me a pillar. Where's a pillar? Can anybody show me where's a pillar?
Pillar.
Huh? Where is a pillar? Huh? There. What about in front of you? Is there a pillar close by? Can anyone see a pillar close by? Huh? This half knows. This half here doesn't know. Where's a pillar? Can you show me a pillar? Where's the pillar? Where? Where? Where's the pillar? Huh? Some people are pointing up, some people are pointing down. Where's the pillar? Huh? Where? What is this? What is this? What is this? Are you sure? Some people don't know. This is a pillar. You understand? What is the purpose of this pillar? What does it do? Yes. It's used for support. You understand? It supports what? If we had to break this pillar, what's going to happen to the roof? It's going to fall. You understand? So that is how the meaning of a pillar are these 5 things. When you say Islam has 5 pillars, these 5 things are so important, so important. If you break them, it's like you're breaking the house. You understand? The whole thing will collapse. That's how important they are. Are we together? The first pillar of Islam, repeat after me, in Arabic is known as Shahada. Everyone say Shahada. 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 What does this mean? Shahada means testimony of faith, right? Usually when a person becomes a Muslim, there is a testimony, something that they say in front of everyone. What do they say? They say that I testify or I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship, that nobody should be worshipped besides who? Besides who? Allah. And I also bear witness or I testify that Prophet Muhammad is his final messenger. Who is the final messenger? Okay. Now, once a person says this, we understand such a person to be a Muslim. Now there's a question here. We spoke about Prophet Muhammad, right? What about all the other prophets of God? What about Jesus Christ? What about Moses? What about Abraham, Noah? What about these prophets? Do Muslims believe in them? Huh? Do Muslims believe in all these prophets? So, against popular belief, many people think Muslims don't believe in Jesus Christ. They don't believe in Moses. They don't believe in Abraham. You understand? But contrary to popular belief, Muslims believe in these prophets. When you open the Quran and you read the Quran, who knows what is the Quran?
Quran.
What is the Quran? It's the sacred book of who? Which people? The Muslims. You understand? When you open this book, you will see the stories of Jesus Christ that are there in the Quran. You understand? You will see the story of his mother, Mary, that are there in the Quran. You will see the stories of Prophet Moses and Aaron. You will see the stories of Prophet Abraham and his children, Ismail, Isaac. You understand? They are all there. Where? In which book? In which book? in the Quran. You understand? So Muslims believe in all these other prophets. They acknowledge them. They say that indeed these were prophets that were sent by God to us. You understand? The difference being, number one, we say that the final prophet is who? Prophet Muhammad. You understand? And number two, Muslims recognize Jesus Christ as a prophet, not God himself. Are we together? So that is the difference. Not that Muslims say, no, we don't believe in the other prophets. We believe in all of them. That's why the stories are there in the Quran. But we say, who was the last prophet to come after Jesus Christ? Was who? Prophet? Which prophet? Which prophet do we say came after Jesus Christ? Huh? Prophet who? Prophet Muhammad. Are we together? Aha.
Pillars of Islam. It's a right pillars of Islam. Shahada. Declaration of faith. Again, there is no God but Allah. And Prophet Muhammad is
His messenger.
his messenger. Again, Shahada.
Write it like how it sounds.
Hello? Hey, that's actually it. Listen to him.
We go on to the next pillar, pillar number 2.
Yes.
Are we together? The next pillar, repeat after me, everyone. Salah.
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 So,
Salah. Aha. Salah means prayer.
prayer.
What does it mean?
Prayer.
Prayer. Salah,
Salah through
prayer. Mhm.
Write Salah. S-A-L-L-A. Salah. H. Through Salah. Through prayer. Declaration of faith is Shahada. So what is declaration of faith? Who will it? Let them say true here. Again. Yeah.
Okay? Who knows how many times a day do Muslims pray? Yes. Muslims pray 5 times a day.
5 times.
How many times?
5 times a day.
Aha. Now, each prayer will take between 5 to 7 minutes each. How long does each prayer take?
5 to 7 minutes.
Aha.
I hope I'm getting it.
The first prayer of the day will take place in the early morning before sunrise. The time usually when you are preparing to wake up, when you wake up and you are preparing to go to school. Right? What time do you wake up in the morning? Huh? What time do you wake up in the morning? 6 o'clock. So when you come to the mosque around 5 o'clock, right? 5:30, 5:45, you'll find people here at the mosque coming to pray the first prayer of the day. You understand?
Yes.
The second prayer of the day takes place at lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime. What time do you have your lunch? What time do you have your lunch? 1 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes.
So when you come to the mosque, you'll find people coming to the mosque to pray the second prayer of the day. Okay? The third prayer of the day takes place usually when you come back home from school. What time do you reach home from school? Half? 3:30 is when you come out from school. What time do you reach home? Huh? 4 o'clock. So between 4 to 5, usually you come to the mosque, you'll find people coming to pray the third prayer of the day. The fourth prayer of the day takes place at sunset. So a few minutes after the sun has gone down, you find Muslims here. When the sun is going down, before it goes down, why? Because the time period is very short. Between sunset and the time we pray is about 3 or 4 minutes. You understand? So before, when the sun is going down, you'll see people already coming to the mosque to pray the fourth prayer of the day. Okay? And then the final prayer of the day takes place at the time when you are usually getting ready to go to sleep. What time do we sleep at night?
9.
9:30. Why so late? What time do you sleep at night? Huh? Why do you people sleep late? What time are we supposed to sleep?
What?
What time are we supposed to sleep? At 8, isn't it? So usually between 7 to 8 o'clock, that's when the final prayer of the day will take place. You understand? You come to the mosque, you find people praying there. Are we together? Now, the onus of coming to the mosque to pray is more on the men than the women. You understand? Generally, this is the place that will be occupied for prayer. People will come and they'll stand in rows behind the imam. Who is the imam? The imam. Who is the imam? The imam is the leader. You understand? That leads the prayer at the mosque. Are you together? So people will stand shoulder to shoulder. Just like how, can you see how you're seated like this? People will stand up. We'll do a demonstration now of prayer. You understand? But women in Islam have the luxury of choosing whether they want to come or whether they want to pray at home. Majority of the time, women will pray at home. You understand? In fact, we say that the best place for women to pray their prayers is where? At home. You understand? Aha. Why? Because at home, what's at home? It's nice and it's comfortable, isn't it? You have the heaters at home, it's warm, you don't have to come out during the winter nights. You understand? The struggle is more for the men, for the boys. Are we together? Okay, who has seen how Muslim pray? Anyone? Have you ever seen how Muslims pray? Yes. How do they pray? Aha, very good. So, here as we are seated, what can tell you what direction Makkah is in? What can tell you? So something that is unique to the mosque. Can you look in front and can you see this arch? Can you see the arch is almost like an arrow? All the other walls are straight and then this one will have an indent, right? That is almost like an arrow showing you when you come in the mosque, you face this direction. You understand? For example, if a person had to come now, a person now says, which direction will I face? You look at this direction, you know that I have to face here. So if you go straight here, where are you going to reach? If a person took a flight and the flight left the mosque here and it went straight in this direction, where are you going to reach eventually? Where are we going to reach? We're going to reach Makkah. Are we together? Huh? Now, who's going to join us with a demonstration? Show us how we pray. Come. 1, 2. Come. Watch. Don't hit yourself. Don't hit yourself on the pillar. Okay, come. Stand. Now, usually, come stand next to him. Yeah. You stand shoulder to shoulder like this. Understand? So usually, we'll be facing this direction. You understand? Why are they facing this direction? Why? Why are they facing you? The reason they're facing you is for you to see. You understand? You want to see. So in your mind, you must imagine that they're facing this direction. Are you together? So the first position in prayer is this one here of standing up. What do? We lift our hands up like this, and then we fold our hands like this. The right hand in front of the left hand. You understand? This is the first position. Are we together? The second position, where we bend down, we hold our knees like this. Come, go down. Aha. You understand? This is position number. Then the third position, we come back up and we stand. You understand? This is position number. Then the last position, sorry, not the last position, the fourth position. The reason why many of you would ask, why do we take out our shoes when we come into the mosque? Isn't it? Where are our shoes? Does anybody have their shoes here? There are no shoes, isn't it? We left them outside. Why? Look at the fourth position. We go all the way down. Go down, down, down. We put our head on the carpet. Put it on the carpet, down. Aha. Can you see? This is position number. Now imagine if we all came into the mosque with our shoes. What will happen to the carpet? What will happen to the carpet? If we came in the mosque with our shoes, what will happen to the carpet? The carpet will get dirty, isn't it? And then the same carpet we have to put what? What will happen if we put our head on the carpet? We'll also get dirty, isn't it? So that's the reason why we leave our shoes outside. Now, position number 5, you come and you sit down. Sit down, sit down. You understand? Then we go again, position number 6, and then we come back up. You understand? Come back up, stand up, like how we were before. You understand? So this is 1 unit of prayer. 1 unit of prayer. Now, depending on which prayer it is, you'll either be doing this 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times. You understand? The difference is when we end, when we complete, sit down, sit down, sit down, go sit down like how we sit in prayer, like how you were sitting before. Put your legs inside, put your legs inside, sit like how he's sitting. See how he's sitting, sit like him. What do? We end our prayer, we turn our head, we look here on your right shoulder, look on your right shoulder, and then you look on your left shoulder. You understand? That is the end of prayer. Are we together? Now, in all these positions, there are certain prayers that we make. You understand? When we stand up, there's something that we read. When we bend down, there's something that we read. When we go down, there's something that we read. You understand? That is a demonstration of how Muslims pray. Are we together? Then there's a minor supplication, right? This supplication now, when we now want to talk to God and ask God for something that we need, you understand? What do? We lift up our hands like this. Lift your hands like this. You understand? This is how we ask and we pray. You say, God, I have my exams coming up. Please allow me to pass in this exam. God, I have this problem and I have that problem. Take away my problems. You understand? How do we ask? We ask with our hands up. You understand? Are we together? So that is how Muslims pray. Okay? Okay, go sit down. So this is what pillar? Have you seen anybody praying like this? Who? Where? Huh? Where? Yes? Huh?
We have little ones, little Muslims.
Who watches football here? Who watches football? Football, soccer. Who watches? No, nobody watches soccer. How? No one watches football. Huh? Sometimes when you see the players, before they go onto the field, what do? If they're Muslims, what do you see them doing? You'll see them before the match starts. You see them standing like this, isn't it? What are they doing?
Praying.
They're praying. You understand? So that's one of the signs that you know that this person here is a is a Muslim. You understand? Okay. Now, we go on to the third pillar of Islam.
The third pillar.
Okay. The third pillar of Islam is, repeat after me, zakah. Zakat. You can say zakah or you can say zakat. You understand? Both of them are correct. Zakah or zakat. You understand? Whichever one is easier for you, you can say. Repeat after me, everyone. Zakat. 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 Aha. What does this mean? This means, yes, giving charity. You understand? What does it mean? Giving what? Aha. Now God created us different. You understand? God created us different. You are all in the same class here. You understand? One class, one school, isn't it? But God has created each person different. Some of you will grow up and you'll grow up to be very, very wealthy. You'll have a lot of money. You understand? And some will be struggling, you understand, to get money. That's how God created the world. Not everybody is the same. You understand? But what we believe that God has given the responsibility to those who He has given wealth to look after the society. You understand? To look after those who are underprivileged, those that don't have enough money. You understand? So in Islam, for those people that have wealth, that have what? A certain amount of wealth, it is compulsory for them to donate 2.5% of their wealth and give it to those that are poor. This is done every year. How often is it done? Every year. You have to calculate how much wealth you have, how much money you have. You understand? If a person has above a certain amount, they have to take out 2.5% of their wealth and look for people that are poor, somebody that is needy, someone that is underprivileged, somebody that is struggling, and you go and you help them with that money. You understand? So God has given some people wealth. God has not given some people wealth. But God has ordered that those people that have wealth, you should look after those that don't have wealth. You understand? Aha. We go on to the next pillar of Islam. The next pillar of Islam is known as, repeat after me everyone, Saum. 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 Aha. Saum. Saum. Saum.
SAWN.
You understand? Saum. M. Saum. WM. Put M. M for mother. Okay, M. Saum. Aha. Aha. What does this mean? Saum means fasting. What does it mean?
Fasting.
Aha. Saum means fasting. Who can tell me what fasting is? Does anyone know fasting? What does fasting mean? What does fasting mean? Yes. So fasting would mean, especially in Islamic terms, abstaining from eating and drinking for a certain amount of time, for a day, for religious purpose, with the intention of gaining reward. With the intention of gaining what? With the intention of getting reward, that God is going to give me something good. You understand? So, have we heard of the holy month of Ramadan? The holy month of Ramadan, right? There are two types of calendars that we use. One is the common calendar, the famous calendar known as the Gregorian calendar or the solar calendar, right? This is based on the calculation of Earth's movement or orbit around the sun. You understand? Earth is moving, isn't it? As we are, Earth is moving. You understand? It's moving around the sun. You understand? And each time it moves around the sun is 1 year. You understand? And in that year, you get 365 days. You understand? Each year has approximately 365 days. Are we together? Now, that's where you get your months. January, February, March, April, May, right until December. You understand? This is known as the solar calendar. Okay? There is another calendar known as the lunar calendar. What is it known as? Lunar calendar. This is based on the moon's movement or orbit around Earth. You understand? Earth has how many moons? How many moons does Earth have? It has one moon. You understand? And each time it moves around, it's either 29 days or 30 days. Are we together? Now, in Islam, that's the calendar that they use to make their calculations. Are we together? In the Islamic calendar, you get the holy month of Ramadan. You understand? Ramadan. When this month begins, Muslims will spend either 29 days or 30 days fasting, right? The fasting time will begin at the time of the first prayer of the day. When does the first prayer of the day start? When does the first prayer of the day start? Who can tell me? We did the second pillar of Islam, isn't it? Prayer. When does the first prayer start? What time? In the morning. Early morning before? Before what? Early morning before going to sleep. Who goes to sleep in the morning? What time does the first prayer of the day start? Before sunrise. You understand? Before the sun comes out, about 1 hour before the sun comes out, 1.5 hours before the sun comes out, Muslims will stop eating and drinking. And they'll continue to do so until the fourth prayer of the day. What time is the fourth prayer of the day? We mentioned the second prayer of the day is 1 o'clock. Then the third prayer of the day is 4 o'clock. Then the fourth prayer of the day is what time? What time? When the sun does what? When the sun sets. You understand? Aha. Once the sun sets, then Muslims will start eating again. You understand? They'll eat. They can eat at any time of the night. The next day, you start again before sunrise. You understand? And this cycle will continue for either 29 or 30 days. They do this every year. You understand? Aha. Then we get to the last pillar of Islam, the fifth pillar. Repeat after me, everyone. Hajj. 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 Aha. What does this mean? Okay, listen to the spelling. H-A-J. Hajj. H-A-J. Hajj. Aha. So, what does Hajj mean? Hajj means pilgrimage. What does it mean? Pilgrimage, right? Pilgrimage, who can tell me what is a pilgrimage?
What is a pilgrimage?
What is a pilgrimage?
Journey to where? Abroad.
Yes, a journey to, that's correct. Help him. A journey where? Very good. A journey to a holy place. You understand? In Islam, that holy place is Makkah. Very highly recommended to also go to Medina. Why? Because who's buried in Medina? Who's buried in Medina? Prophet Muhammad. You understand? So you go and visit his grave there also. You understand? Another very sacred place we'll show you when we go downstairs is also the mosque in Jerusalem, known as Masjid Al-Aqsa or Al-Aqsa Mosque. You understand? Yes. This is in Palestine. Very, very sacred place. Why? Why? Why is it sacred? Who can tell me? It's sacred because this is also the same place where who was born? Who was born? Huh? No, Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca. We're talking about a different place altogether, a different country known as Palestine. There is a famous mosque that is there. You understand? This famous mosque is very, very sacred. But unfortunately, right now, it is engulfed in war. People are fighting one another. You understand? What is this sacred place? This sacred place is Jerusalem. You understand? Who was born there? Who was born? Jesus Christ himself was born there. You understand? He lived there. You understand? So right now there's a mosque. Even to us as Muslims, the place is very, very sacred. You understand? The Prophet Muhammad told us that nobody should make an intention to visit any mosque with the intention of gaining reward except 3 mosques. The mosque in Mecca, the mosque in Medina, and the mosque in Jerusalem. You understand? Aha. Very good. So Muslims, if you can afford, it is compulsory at least once in your lifetime to travel and visit these holy lands. Mecca, you understand? And do the rituals there. So that brings us to the end of the 5 pillars. Are we together? Okay, let's stand up once again. Everyone, let's stand up. Stand up. Okay, this time, let's turn to the left. Turn to your left first. I want you to massage the person in front of you. Give them a nice massage, a nice back massage. Who knows how to massage? Who knows how to massage? Give them a nice massage here on the shoulders. Aha. Okay, turn to the right. Don't go too far, otherwise the one in front of you won't be able to massage you. Okay, right? Okay, let's sit down now. Okay, now we move on to the passages of life. Who can tell me? Yes.
You can tell something about the Kaaba.
The Kaaba, yes. So, very good. While we're still on the final pillar of Islam, we said we went to Makkah, isn't it? What is in Makkah? Makkah, we believe, is a structure that is symbolic to God. It was a structure that was erected for God's remembrance. And it was a structure that was erected by Prophet Abraham and his son Ismail. You understand? Yes, the toilet. So you can go downstairs. There is a passage here. Toilet number 2. Okay, so in Makkah, there is a structure, right? It's a cubical structure. It's structured in a shape of a cube. You understand? Muslims all around the world face that structure when they pray. You understand? It shows the unity that Muslims have in worship to God. You understand?
Yes.
Now, this structure is very, very sacred because we say that it was Prophet Abraham together with his son that had erected it. You understand? They erected it. And the story of this appears in the Quran, that God instructed them that erect a place of worship for me. You understand? So that is known as the Kaaba. What is it known as? What color is it? What color is it? The color is black. You understand? Very, very good. Okay? Okay. So we move on to passages of life. What marks the beginning of life? Who can tell me? Where does life begin? Life begins where? At birth. You understand? So during birth or after birth, there are certain rituals that are done that Muslims observe. Number 1 is the cutting of the hair. You understand? Cutting of the hair that is removed, right? Its amount in money will be given as a donation. You understand? To those that are in need. You understand? A small donation that is given to people that are in need. Another ritual that is done is known as tahniq. Tahniq is placing honey or a date or something sweet into the baby's mouth. You understand? Something small, not something big. You understand? Why? Because babies, they cannot eat, isn't it? They can't eat solid food. So something very small, it's placed into the baby's mouth. Another thing that is done, the call of prayer. There are 2 calls of prayer, one major and one minor. Okay? Major call of prayer is given in the baby's right ear, and the minor call to prayer is given in the baby's left ear. Are we together?
Yes.
On the 7th day, there is a ceremony that is held, a thanksgiving ceremony that is held, where a sacrifice is done. This sacrifice for the boys, for the males, is 2 goats or 2 sheep. And for the girls, it's 1 goat or 1 sheep. You understand? It will be sacrificed. Either all of it can be given out in charity, or some of it, or a person can cook and a person can invite their friends and family to come and enjoy in the meal. You understand? It's a happy occasion. You understand? Birth in Islam is seen as a blessing. When God blesses you with a child, we see it as a blessing. It's a happy occasion. Are we together? Then, right, something that is performed especially for the boys, highly recommended, circumcision. You understand? Circumcision is something that is highly recommended. So when the boys are in the hospital, usually in the beginning days, the doctor performs a procedure for you. You understand? Why? We regard it to be something that is contributing towards hygiene. You understand? Contributing towards what? Hygiene. You understand? Why do we slaughter 2 goats for the males and 1 goat for the female? Because part of this sacrifice is also a supplication to God. You understand? That God, through this sacrifice, we ask you to bless the child and to look after the child. You understand? That's why the sacrifice is done in a specific way. Even the bones, we try as much as possible not to break the bones of the child, of the goat or the sheep. You understand? Why? Because it's almost like we're praying to God that God, how we looked after this animal, we didn't break its bones. You understand? We sacrificed it nicely. We ask you to also look after our children. Now, generally in society, the men would have more responsibility over the women. You understand? The men were tasked to protect the society, to look after the society. You understand? So that's why the sacrifice was done more. 2 goats for the males and 1 goat for the female. That God, in their responsibilities, look after them and allow them to do their responsibilities and their duties to the best of their abilities. You understand? Children then will go on to go to school. You understand? All of you that are sitting here, you have a right. You have what? A right. What right do you have? You have the right to be educated. You understand? Education is your right. You understand? To a certain extent, if officials will find out that there is a house with a child and the child is not being taken to school without any valid reason, you understand? The parents can get into trouble. Why? Because you have not given the child's right. You understand? So education is your right. You have the right to be educated. You understand? Similarly, Muslims also, when they come of age, they also go to school and they also receive an education. It goes forward until we reach a stage of puberty. This is between the ages of 12 to 15. Who can tell me what is puberty?
One is towards.
What is puberty? Yes. You are now no more a child, you are now an adult. You go through a transition phase. You understand? There was a time where you could walk at home. You understand? Yes. You have the cup in your hand and then you drop the cup. When you drop the cup, what do? You drop the cup and the cup breaks. What do? They say, watch out, watch out, watch out. They come and they pick you up and they say, hey, watch out, watch out. Sorry, okay? Isn't it? Why? Because you are small, isn't it? But now if you go home and you take the cup from the cupboard and you start throwing the cup, what are they going to do to you? What are they going to do to you? They're going to get into a lot of trouble, isn't it? Why? Because now you have reached an age of understanding. You know what is right and what is wrong. You know what is good and what is bad. You understand? So puberty in Islam is an age where you now become responsible. You now have to start praying. You now have to start fasting. You are no more treated or taken like a small child. You understand? A person will then complete their school. They'll go on to university. They'll get their degrees. They'll go into the workspace. They'll get a job. And then comes a phase we know as marriage. You understand? Where a person will now say that I now need a partner. I now need somebody that I can stay with. You understand? And in Islam, that partnership is solemnized through marriage. Majority of the time, the marriage will take place here at the mosque. You understand? It can take place in different places, but majority of the time it takes place at the mosque. Are we together? Where the groom or the husband will come and the wife or the bride will bring or will appoint a representative that when you go to the mosque, you are going to represent me there at the mosque. You understand? You will tell the Imam, the leader, that I agree to get married to so and so. You understand? When they come here, they're going to be asked, did so and so give you their permission to get her married to so and so? Without any force, without any pressure. You understand? If they say yes, the marriage will be solemnized. If they say no, I didn't want to get married, and they were pushing me, and they were forcing me, they were pressurizing me, what will happen? The marriage won't take place. Why? Because number one, in Islam, we believe that marriage should take place out of free will. You understand? The two parties should be willing to get married to each other. There is no such thing as a forced marriage. You understand? Something that is compulsory is that the husband has to give a gift, a dowry. This can be in money or anything that has value. And this has to be given to the potential wife. You understand? It's an agreement between them what they decide. You understand?
No.
And after that is the best part of the wedding. How many here have attended a wedding before? How many here have attended a wedding? Who has attended a wedding? One. Only one. Few. Who can tell me what was the best part of the wedding? What was the best part of the wedding? Huh? Which part do you like the most? Which part do you like the most of the wedding? Huh? Which part do you like? The part where you eat, isn't it? That's the time where you could eat nice food, isn't it? All the best food that you can get. The whole year you won't get that food, only there at the wedding. You wait for the wedding to come. You understand? So you can eat nice food. So similarly, in Islam, they also have a feast, a celebration. Family and friends, you are called together to come and also eat and celebrate with the married couple. You understand? Then God will bless some with children, some God will not bless with children. That is God's choice. And you live your life, and then you come to the final stage of life. Who can tell me what is it that marks the end of life? What marks the end of life? What marks the end of life? Death. Very good. So, during death, when a Muslim passes away, what happens? Number one, number one, the time period between death and burial is very, very short. Majority of the time, Muslims will be buried within 24 hours of them passing away. You understand? Then, when a person passes away, just like when we are born, they bath us, isn't it? So when a person passes away, the body is washed. You understand? They also get the final bath. Why? Because we say in the next life, the person is now going to meet who? They're going to meet the angels. You understand? So it's a special meeting, isn't it? So a person has to be, when you have your friends invite you to their house, or you've been invited to the wedding, how do you go to the wedding? You wear your school uniform? Huh? Or you wear your dirty clothes? You understand? You beautify yourself. You dress well. You understand? So similarly, the person is bad because they're going to meet the angels in the grave. You understand? Then a person is wrapped up in a white cloth. For the males, it's going to be 3 pieces of cloth, and for the females, it's going to be 5 pieces of cloth. You understand?
Male 4.
Male 3 and the female 5.
What's the name of the cloth?
It's called a coffin. Coffin.
Coffin.
Yes. Coffin. K-A-F-N. Coffin. You understand? A-F-N.
Coffin.
F-N. You understand? Now, K-A-F-N.
Thank you.
Are we together? Then a special prayer. Now why? Why is it that women have 5 and men have 3? You understand? Why? Because we believe that in the life, number 1, of a woman, she carries herself with dignity in life. Dignity how? By covering herself. Who covers themselves more? The men or the women? The women. You understand? So that same dignity that she lived, that she observed during her lifetime, is also preserved during her demise. You understand? That in life, she used to cover herself more than the men. You understand? Out of respect, out of dignity. So similarly, in death, she is also covered up more than the men to preserve her dignity. You understand? A prayer is then made for the deceased to God, for them to accept the deceased and to forgive their shortcomings and to enter them into paradise. And then the burial will then proceed. They'll go to the graveyard and the person will be placed into a grave. Now, when Muslims bury without a coffin. Without a coffin or without a box. You understand? What happens is, yes.
Yeah. Habareka makesi. Ngakwana. Yaga mahoreka makesi. Atura. Ona mairisa matsela ona hela. Ita usika letsela. Again.
What happens is, inside the grave, there will be a chamber that is dug. You know what a chamber is? An indent. And the person will be placed into the grave, and then it will be covered with planks. You understand? It will be covered with planks. Once the planks are covered, then the grave is filled with sand. You understand? So that's how Muslims will bury. We bury without a coffin or without a box. Are we together?
Whether you are rich or poor,
It's the same. Okay. Did we learn today? Huh? Anyone with any questions? Anything you want to ask? Yes. So the crescent moon and star is a symbolic symbol. You understand? Not that it has any virtue. It's a symbol. It's a sign, like a logo. It's not that Muslims worship the crescent moon and sun. You understand? It's symbolic that whenever you see it, for example, we'll go outside and I'll show you on the structure. It will show somebody from outside that this is a place for who? For Muslims. You understand? That's what the crescent moon and star is for. It has symbolic meaning. You understand? For example, a star is something that is used at night to find guidance when you are lost. In the olden days, they used to use the star. Where is the North Star? Okay, we need to go in this direction. You understand? And the person is guided. The crescent moon has a symbolic meaning. It shows a new beginning. Every month, right, there's a crescent moon that marks the new beginning of a month. You understand? So sometimes in life, God gives us new beginnings. You understand? It's a new beginning. God gives us a chance to start over again. You understand? And to align ourselves, our lives with God. You understand? But otherwise, there's no special attachment to it. It's just like a logo to show that this place here is for Muslims. You understand? Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Why do we leave shoes outside? Very, very good. Where are our two people that were demonstrating? One is here. Where's the second one? Come back. I want you to help our friend. You understand? He asked a very important question. He asked, why is it when we came inside, we left our shoes outside? What are you going to say to him? What are you going to tell him? Huh? You forgot. You. Two. The reason why, you saw when they were praying, isn't it? Where did they took their head and they put their head where? On the floor, isn't it? So if everybody steps with the shoe, the floor is going to get dirty. You understand? So to keep the floor clean, we leave our shoes outside. You understand? You understand? Now you remember. You remember? Okay, come go sit down. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. Yes.
Muslim males only allowed to have many wives.
Yes. So, what had happened before? People used to get married and there was no limit to the amount of marriages that they have. You understand? One person could marry up to 40 women. You understand? There was no limit. When Islam came, Islam then came to reduce that number. To say that no, if a person wants to get married, they should get married. The limit is 4. You understand? The limit is how much? You can't get married to 40, 50. You understand? It must be only how much? 4. But there is a condition. The condition was each of these wives should be treated fairly and equally. You understand? Each of them should be treated how? Fairly and equally. If a person knows that if I have 4 wives, I won't be able to treat them fairly and equally, the Quran says, then you should stick to how many? 1. You understand? So, the Quran says yes, Islam says yes, you are allowed to get married to 4 wives. You understand? But each of them should be treated equally. If a person won't be able to do that, then a person should get married to how many wives? 1 wife. You understand? Mhm. Yes. During? Aha. So Muslims have their days of celebration. You understand? The 2 Eids. You understand? The day of celebration is known as Eid. There are 2 types. One that comes after the holy month of Ramadan. Once we have finished fasting, we have a day of celebration, commemorating the end of the month of Ramadan and the beginning of the new month. You understand? So it's a day where a person will spend with their friends and their family. A person will be able to eat the whole day, and a person will be able to thank God. This Eid is known as Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr. You understand? There's another Eid during the month of pilgrimage, the month of Hajj. Some would leave their homes to go for a pilgrimage, but not everybody. Some people will remain behind. Those that remain behind, they will offer a sacrifice on that day. You understand? A sacrifice as a thanksgiving to God. You understand? The meat will be shared again amongst the people, the family, the friends. You understand? Some people will cook. Some people will have a feast at home. You go and visit other people. It's a day of celebration. This day is known as Eid al-Adha. What is it known as? Eid Adha. Eid al-Adha. Aha. You understand? Yes. Okay. Any other question? Okay. If there are no questions, what we'll do, we'll proceed downstairs. We'll take our shoes and then we'll now make a round around the mosque, right? There are certain things that we should see, and there are certain teachings, certain things that we can learn from there also. Are we together? Let's make one line. Remember when we came up through the staircase, right? When we're going down, we need to be extra careful. We go extra slow. You understand? Why? Because if we push somebody that is in front of us, what will happen to them? They'll fall and they'll get hurt. You understand? So let's be extra particular and extra careful. Okay? Okay. So when you come here, something that you'll notice is the scenery, right? We notice the garden that is here. We notice the trees that are here. And this is in line with the teachings in Islam. In Islam, we are encouraged to plant more and more trees. Why? Because the Prophet has told us, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, told us that there are certain actions, when a person passes away, all his actions stop. But he's taught us that there are certain things a person can do while they're alive. Even after a person passes away, they will still receive more and more rewards. One of the examples that he gave was planting of trees. So you see, some of these trees maybe might have been planted by people who have already passed away. But whoever benefits from the shade, a person will get a reward in the grave. Whoever eats from the fruit of the tree, a person would get a reward in the grave. You understand? And what do trees contribute towards? Who can tell me? Yes. It avoids soil erosion. That's very good. Anyone else? What does it give us? Yes. It gives us food. Very good. And then it gives us oxygen. You understand? Yes. So in other words, the more trees we plant, the more beneficial it is to us. And simply by encouraging people to plant more and more trees, automatically we are looking after our climate. You understand? Now let's move a little bit forward. Right. Now, can you see this tall structure? Who can tell me what this tall structure is? This tall structure is known as a minaret. What is it known as? A minaret. Right? In Arabic, they call it a minarah. In English, they'll say a minaret. Right? It's a tall structure, right? But what it was used for traditionally, in the olden days, before people had microphones, before people had speakers, right? We mentioned that Muslims pray 5 times a day, isn't it? Yes. Now, for these 5 prayers, there's a call to prayer that is given. Now, when people didn't have microphones, people would climb on top of these tall structures and they would give the call to prayer. Why? Because the higher you are, the more further your voice will travel. You understand? The more further your voice will go. But now in today's time, we have microphones, we have speakers. So then you no more find people going on top there. You understand? People will stay inside a room here and they'll stand in front of the microphone and they'll give the call to prayer. Why? Because we have speakers. You understand? So this now is just symbolic. That when a person is traveling outside, if you see this, you know there's what here? There's a mosque. You understand? So say for example, if you saw this structure and on top, instead of the crescent, moon and star, you saw a cross. What were we going to say? We're going to say it was a church. You understand? But when we see the crescent, moon and star, we know that this place is a mosque. Very, very good. Okay.